Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back. Hola. We are doing our armchair travel adventure to Costa Rica. And today I am so honored to have with me Mariana from the Toucan Rescue Ranch in Costa Rica. Hello, Mariana.
Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. When you think about Costa Rica, we're talking about 500,000 species of animals and plants, and it's an animal nature lover's paradise, right? And I think I read that there's over 100 native nature reserves, wildlife sanctuaries. And so I'm really happy to talk with you today, Mariana, from the Toucan Rescue Ranch, right?
Yeah, actually, you're right. It's Costa Rica is one of the countries that has 5% of the biodiversity of the world. So even though it's a very small country, it's definitely a very, very big biodiversity and is very wildlife heavy, if you will. So yeah, that's probably why there's so many of us.
Yes. So tell me a little bit more about the Toucan Rescue Ranch. What do you do and what's your mission?
Yes, so my name is Mariana. I am part of the marketing team here at Toucan Rescue Ranch. I am originally from Costa Rica, but I lived in the UK for 3 years, so I came back to just do this specifically. And the Toucan Rescue Ranch was founded in 2004 by Leslie Howell. She's our founder and managing director. And she founded this, started as just toucans, right? So she was really obsessed with birds and conservation with birds. And then it wasn't until way later on that we received our first mammal, who's Millie, who's the ambassador of the sloths here at the Toucan Rescue Ranch.
Yes.
And she was the first sloth we rescued. And that's when the vet team started getting a lot bigger and the ranch started getting a lot more complex. And so now we rescued every single wildlife animal that comes through our door. No life is little or small, like too small or too big for the Toucan Rescue Ranch. We believe that conservation starts with a single life. And
Mhm.
now we are able to have over 200 animals that come through our gates and we are able to save. So it's very, very inspiring, really.
Oh, that is amazing. I need to share a clip from your website. I
Yeah.
want to say stop and Mariana, your marketing team applause because your Facebook page is incredible. All the stories about the wildlife residents and when they came to be at Toucan, when they get adopted, how you take care of them, it's amazing. But I really like to share this clip with everyone.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
oh, oh my goodness. I watched that the whole day. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So it's 200 animals or wildlife you have at the Toucan, yes?
Yes. So basically, how the Toucan Restaurant works is, in general, two big areas. So we have the wildlife sanctuary, which is every animal that comes through our gates that maybe they have a condition. So perhaps they had an accident and it's too big of an accident for it to go back into the wild. Maybe they can fly. Maybe there's something they have an illness that we detected and we know that they won't make it. They stay here as part of our sanctuary. The biggest permanent residents we have, as we call them, sadly come from being illegal pets. So it's a very big issue for them because they don't really know how to behave anymore. They don't really know how what their natural instincts would be, and they're overly social with people instead of animals. So the problem with that is that if we were to release, say, a toucan that's actually too used to people, they can maybe get confiscated, they can become illegal pets again, they can be sold or worse. And so we work with the National Wildlife Police, and that's why we keep them here, because we know that at least this is the second best thing. So they're going to be taken care of properly by doctors that are specialized, by zoologists that are specialized, and that way they'll get the best life they can have under the circumstances that they're in. And then the other side, which is the rescue side, what we do is we rehabilitate animals that perhaps were in an accident, but they still have everything functioning. We still know that they're going to make it. The vets make a whole assessment of how they're doing. And once we know that they're completely releasable because they're going to be completely fine, we do.
Okay, so the first mission is to rehabilitate them and to release them back to their natural habitats.
Exactly.
Okay.
So rehabilitate and release wildlife, as much wildlife as we can.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Now, I must ask, like, what is the rarest residence that you have, well, currently at Toucan?
So actually the biggest and the most rare animal that we're actually the only rescue center in the country that has one is an ancilla. So an ancilla is a very small looking cat. It looks like a house cat, it's that small. And they're incredibly endangered in Costa Rica. And we don't know a lot about this animal. We know that it's endemic to Costa Rica, this particular species of ancilla. His name is Taboo. And we are the only rescue center that has one, as I mentioned. And so it's very special to us to have him, because thanks to like being able to do different types of research with him, like just analyzing his species, for instance, we get to help other rescue centers and research centers that want to learn more about these species so that we can preserve their environments. Having someone like Taboo is really, like an animal like Taboo is really inspiring, because he can really help us understand the species better. And he's really cute. His story is kind of a mystery. He was found in a trash can, and people thought that he was a regular cat, but they brought it to us because he looked kind of maybe like a baby ocelot, like a baby big cat, like a bigger cat. So we did all the tests on him, and that's when it came positive that he was an ancilla. And the reason why we've kept him as a permanent resident is because his behavior is not really that wild, which gives the impression that he probably was someone's pet and he managed to escape. And so that's why he's a permanent resident, because he doesn't have the natural behavior of a cat that would be like a proper wild ancilla.
Interesting. And what would be a day like for do you have members who live on the ranch full time? Do you live on the ranch full time? And
so basically what we do is all the vet team, all the staff that's vet and biology trained, they rotate. So everyone stays overnight, a different night. So we're always making sure that everyone is always taken care of. That way we can check that all the animals, maybe the ones that are nocturnal, we can feed at night and everything that works like that, especially with taking care of the baby sloths and stuff. And also like the property is completely, it's completely safe for them to stay. And so that's how we manage that.
okay. And so I wanted to talk about young future conservationists and how they can get involved. I think I saw on your website that there's a kids zone that you just started. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so the Kidz Korner is actually a new blog that this girl, Silvye, reached out. She contacted marketing and she said, I want to be a sloth conservationist when I'm older. She's, I think, 9 years old right now, and she wanted to get started. So she reached out and she asked if there's something she could do. And she said that she wanted to start writing, that she's really interested in writing. And we thought, this is perfect. Of course, we can provide you with a space for you to not only get creative from a really early age, but also so that you can start making a difference and making an impact, because it doesn't matter how old you are, right? Like I feel like if there's anything that the last years have taught us is that if you want to be part of conservation, you can. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter how young or how little you think you know, every little bit helps. And so kids like Silvye has really taught us, and it's even stories that we get at the ranch itself. For example, Sarah Palmer, who's my manager, she's the marketing manager. She started into conservation because her teacher when she was a kid was really inspiring about conservation. And so it's really important from an early age to get involved into this. And if you're interested, of course, to get going, because it's gonna just, get bigger and bigger from there.
And you know what? You're inspiring generations, right? Just like Silvye is your
Yeah.
manager. She was inspired when she was young, and then you're able to inspire future generations, and it grows, right? Because work never gets done. I hear about these amazing stories, and you're finding new species all the time. You're learning all the time, right?
Exactly. I
So
feel like learning is the biggest part of conservation. Being curious, staying
yeah,
curious, I guess.
exactly, agreed. Now, World Wildlife Day. I'm just reading about this, so this is new to me. World Wildlife Day was March 3rd, a few weeks ago. What
Yeah.
does that mean, and what message do you try to impart on people about what Wildlife Day means?
Well, for the Toucan Rescue Ranch, World Wildlife Day was a really big day to just highlight the work we do, highlight that this is something that we celebrate every day. And the ways that we can get involved, it doesn't matter, like I was saying, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter how much you want to get involved. Every little bit is always going to help conservation efforts. And so for us, for instance, there's many ways that people can get involved. Either if this is, coming and volunteering for a month, or maybe you want to be an intern, maybe you just graduated in biology and you want to get going in conservation. Maybe something as little as making a small donation. For instance, we have this thing called the Two for Toucan Club that people can join through Venmo. It's the simplest thing. You just donate $2 a month and you're helping conservation efforts, because if every single member donated just $2 a month, we could help the expenses for 2 whole months of feeding the animals, of saving the medical equipment, everything regarding just the Toucan Rescue Ranch's mission. And so little things like this can definitely benefit. We also feel like the World Wildlife Day is a very important day to just bring back the importance of nature into everyday lives, and how everything that we are a part of is basically nature related all the time, whether we really think about it or not. So for us, it was really important to just highlight the beauty, highlight the importance, and just highlight how we can get involved.
Right, and you touched on that. I was going to ask you about that. How does your volunteer program work?
Sorry. So the volunteer program is very simple. So you go on our website and you just click the Get Involved tab, and then you go on Volunteer. There's a little tab there when you can just fill out the information form, and basically you just have to commit to 20 days to come at least. And if you want to stay a lot longer, of course you can. You're more than welcome to. It doesn't matter if you have experience in volunteering, experience in wildlife or not, because we teach you right everything here and there and right here. And basically what people do is they come for a month and they learn a lot about wildlife while they take care of that wildlife. So they help our volunteer coordinator, who's also the coordinator for everything enrichment related and everything animal care related. And you feed the animals, you change their water, you can come and you can help with the enrichment, which is basically making sure that the animals that are permanent residents are getting stimulus every day constantly, whether that's different types of food, different type of presentations, different toys. And it's just a very, very, I think it's a very gratifying and different experience when it comes to traveling, because you don't travel to just do vacation, you come and travel and you actually get to learn from these amazing species.
Amazing. And, I'm assuming that Toucan Rescue Ranch, like other sanctuaries, are funded through donations as well, right? Has the pandemic really affected funding this year, or have you had to be more creative with your marketing efforts to reach more people?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had to reinvent ourselves completely, because like you said, the Toucan Rescue Ranch does not get any government funding. We are completely a charity, completely a nonprofit, and everything we do thanks to donations. And most of the donations that we used to get, and the biggest ones that we get, are from people coming for educational walks on our sanctuary side, when people come and learn everything about all the animals that are permanent residents, and they learn about our mission and how they can get involved themselves, and they learn each individual story of each individual animal. And so with the pandemic, we sadly had to close to the public, and that meant we had to reinvent ourselves completely. So everything was online. We managed to get into like the worst side, which was when everything was shut down and we didn't know what was going to happen and the uncertainty that came with that. But we actually started this new type of tour, which is the virtual tours, and they have been very successful. You can go through Amazon, or you can go through the Toucan Rescue Ranch's website itself. And they can be maybe at home, in lockdown in England right now, and still come to the Toucan Rescue Ranch for 2 amazing hours and get to learn everything about every single animal that we have. They can see the sloths. Maybe there's a tour that you can talk to Leslie, our founder, while she feeds the newborn, like the orphan babies, and she can tell you everything about the babies, and you can ask her any question regarding the Toucan Rescue Ranch, even from the comfort of your own home. So that's thankfully been a really amazing experience.
That's the beauty of marketing, to be able to have a creative mind, to reinvent ourselves, to get our message across. So I applaud the efforts. And there is a tour, I think it's a tour, it's called Slothies and Coffees. What exactly is that? It was really catchy, but what is that?
Thank you. So basically, we have a partnership with Brit, who's a coffee company here in Costa Rica, and we actually have a coffee with them that's called the Sloth Coffee. And that coffee, a percentage of the sales of that coffee comes back to the Toucan Rescue Ranch, and that way we get the colors that we use to track the animals once we release them, just to make sure that they are doing well, and then eventually that gets removed. So through that, we decided, Sarah actually came up with the idea to start a coffee tour that would be directly related to the sloths. And so basically what people do is they come and they get pastries and our coffee, as well as they look at their baby adorable sloths and on their morning routine. So, they get fed, they do a little exercise. They also, sometimes they can do a little, go to the toilet and all of that while you have your pastries. And it's really, really fun to see them interacting. You can see how the animals, obviously everything is done from a very safe distance so that the animals, they don't get stressed and they don't really notice that people are there, because they're just going about their morning routine. But it's a very nice experience for people to see how the animals interact, how they behave, and spend a larger chunk with them. And then after that, they go on the regular tour, the educational walk on the sanctuary.
I've been reading about sloth exercises. What exactly would that look like? I'm just so curious.
It's really not that exciting as you might imagine, because obviously everything they do is they just like to be on branches and they like to grab different things. So we have structures that are specially designed for sloths so that they can exercise. Maybe they are learning how to climb because they're smaller, and so these structures really help them to get the grasp of how to grab onto different branches. Maybe if they had surgery or there's something related to the rehab side, this also helps them to get into a controlled environment so that they can start climbing again and they can learn again. So once we get them out of the structure, we move them into a regular tree so they can start climbing how they usually would in the wild. Yes. So that when they're ready, and they actually perfectly know how to handle themselves in their natural environment.
So sweet. And I was curious too, do you get the opportunity to work with other sanctuaries in Costa Rica? How would you do you have a partnership, or are you very different and autonomous?
Yes, actually, we do work with them, because it's always important in conservation. Everyone has the same goal, right? So we all want to help, we all want to contribute to the animals, and that's ultimately what matters. So for example, if there's a howler monkey that just came and it arrived at our sanctuary, but we can't provide sanctuary for them because howler monkeys are a very specific type of animal, we know that there's sanctuaries somewhere else that they will be able to handle him, and they know how, they have a specific area for them. Or maybe it comes the other way around. If maybe there's another sanctuary that needs our help, we work, for example, with the Sloth Institute and the research and conservation efforts of sloths. And that's always been a very important partnership to us, because they do the scientific side and we do the releasing side. And together we get to understand a lot better about the species and learn a lot more, and obviously contribute to science. And for example, we also do the macaw network recovery, which is the green macaw, who is incredibly endangered. And so we help them with all the scientific side. We help them with the conservation efforts that they do themselves. And that's kind of how it works with every single rescue center. So if there's something specific that they need from us or we need from them, it's always super duper welcome.
You see how we can work together? You know, it's not all autonomous little silos. Like, everyone can work together for the greater good of protecting our wildlife. And I want to know, like, is there a way to, I'm in Canada, is there a way that we can get involved and support the residents and their mission that you're doing at Toucan Rescue Ranch more?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of ways that you can help. So for instance, if you want to come and volunteer, you're more than welcome to come and volunteer. We have an Amazon wish list, so you can give actual donations of actual things that we might need, whether that's medical equipment or something for the sloth babies. All of these things are obviously always super transparent. You can see where they're going, you can see when they're here, and that's a very nice experience. There's also adoption packages. So obviously all of these are symbolic adoptions, but maybe you're thinking about what should I get my friend who loves sloths for her birthday? Oh, I know I'm going to symbolically adopt a sloth in Costa Rica. And then
Hey.
a package that this is the sloth that you just donated to, and you're going to help with the daily care of this animal for a full year. Or maybe, like I was saying, maybe the two for toucan clubs, just $2 a month, and you're really making a difference because you have no idea how a little bit goes a super long way. um, and then you can also just do regular donations as well. We have Cuddly Campaigns, which is a partnership. It's a nonprofit in the US that helps centers like ours and just regular animal welfare centers. So, for example, if there's a specific campaign of a specific animal, people can go and they support there, or they can directly donate through our website. And we're always super duper grateful for all of these.
Now, you said the Amazon, and I'm gonna have to get all of these links afterwards because I need to post this. But I love the idea of, like a baby shower. It's a baby shower for the rescue ranch. I love that. I must get all of that, and I will post this at the end of our conversation. But we've come to the end of our talk. This has been so interesting, so informative, Mariana. And I want to say thank you so much for spending time and space with me. And I was wondering, is there anything else you'd like to share before we say goodbye today?
Well, I really want to thank you for your time and for inviting me along. I think it's been very exciting to share what we do. I'm very passionate about the Toucan Rescue Ranch, and I'm very passionate about all the work. Every single life that we get to save is really just the reason why we all get up in the morning. And like you said, I think it's very interesting to learn a lot more. And I guess that is my biggest takeaway from this, that being able to help conservation and able to help specific animals is always going to be super rewarding. Is basically what we all as a society need to do to help conservation and to preserve the planet that we all live in. And so I think just getting involved in every little single way you can is always going to make a huge difference.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate the work that you do.
Thank
Such
you.
passion, and I want to applaud you. Thank you so much. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Today we had this wonderful experience speaking with Mariana from the Toucan Rescue Ranch. And I will post all the links that she talked about, how we can get involved and support wildlife in Costa Rica. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.